Cool. Hi, everybody. Welcome to our regularly scheduled SIG usability meeting. Today, Josie has a proposal for improving how we tag upstream Kubernetes issues for better usability visibility for the SIG and others who want to improve usability in our code base. And then after that, we'll take a quick look at the data, the initial data coming in from our usability survey.
Cool. So this is less of a proposal for tagging and labeling and more just like what that scope of work could look like. And I'd like to use this time to gather feedback and thoughts and just things I could do in this scope of work. Oh, can I share my screen?
Yeah, sorry, I'm unused to the lockdown permissions. I'll just make you a host. Co-host. Okay.
All right. The basic hypothesis is that by creating labels for requests and issues relevant to the SIG UX, there's an opportunity to learn about the usability needs of from the community itself. For the SIG, I think it's an opportunity for a way to discover exploratory tracks of usability work, a means to quantify, subsequently triage community concerns with regards to usability. It's an opportunity to increase visibility for our SIG and create non-technical opportunities for community engagement. So risks, labels are not relevant. Labels don't get traction, specifically because people aren't aware, they aren't interested. There could be short-term memory, like you hear about it and you're like, oh, okay, that's interesting, but you might do it once, but never leverage them again. And another risk is we get too much traction and there are not enough members in the SIG to drive meaningful action. Are there any other risks that I should think about for this scope of work?
I think that the only other risk I can think of is getting the labels approved. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or I guess getting sort of buy-in about adding labels if we need to.
Okay. Okay. So for outcome 1, it was to align on a set of labels that are relevant to SIG usability, i.e. accessibility, internationalization, UI. Is the construction really loud? Yes?
I can hear you, but more than I can hear the construction. So it's, yeah, I would say it's not disruptive.
Okay. So the plan is to create an inventory of needs from the SIG, possibly reaching out to folks on Slack, look at what other community projects have done. So recommendations that I've gotten is Vue.js, Tailwind, and Rails. Create a list of tags and get feedback from the community, again, via Slack, and also from local subject matter experts. And I was thinking of Brian Lyles.
Yeah, I think there's one too many I's in there.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
There we go.
Probably auto-completed.
Is there any other community projects I should think about? Are there other ways I can reach out and learn about community needs?
Yeah, I think it's always a great idea to just ping in contributor experience, just because there's a bunch of people there who are really engaged who might have some good ideas. And I guess we could, and this will probably happen if you ping in SIG contributor experience, but the release team might have some good ideas too, since they're kind of, in the meat of how everything gets made.
Okay, cool. Are there any other community projects I should look into? Yeah, okay. and anyone else from the community that might provide good insight or have feedback that we would find valuable.
We could always ping Brendan, since he's super interested in how we're sort of automating all of this. He might have some ideas, but I think overall, like, we'll probably get some interested people who kind of will point us to other people as we kick this off. So yeah.
Okay. All right, so I'm hoping that this won't take too long. Maybe end of July or by the next SIG meeting, have a list of labels that we can talk about. And then outcome 2 is community members are aware and can leverage labels to bring awareness to our SIG about UX concerns. So I'm assuming that we're going to have to create some documentation, measure whether or not the labels are being used, gather feedback, and iterate. I was thinking maybe have some way of communicating this at KubeCon so that folks are aware of the labels. But yeah, open for feedback.
Yeah, I think that that's really great. We can definitely use the platform that the SIG has, but maybe we could even make some movement before KubeCon. I think KubeCon is in Q3, Q4. I don't know. Time is very strange this year. Yeah, I think that this is a really great idea. We can definitely communicate what we have at KubeCon using the SIG platform. But then it would be awesome if we tried to kind of have the labels available for people to start using at KubeCon. So then, like, there's an immediate action that they can take.
Mm. So I'm hoping that before KubeCon we'll have those labels, and we'll start iterating before then, and see if people are using them or not.
Yeah, and then we can just kind of enhance visibility. And I really like the part of your plan at the very top about making it easier for non-coders to contribute, because I think that's something that this SIG could really make a difference in, is sort of opening up the Kubernetes community to people with other talents. So I think having this at KubeCon and then sort of having people start, know about it and take it back to their organizations to tell others who may not have come to KubeCon because right now they don't feel like, they're a contributor, and then, kind of take it from there. So yeah.
Okay. Maybe there's something specific we can do to measure engagement from if like that's our target audience, or not just target, but like we'd like to be able to leverage non-coders.
Yeah, I think we'll see it kind of organically in sort of just engagement with the SIG. Especially if our docs are good and we explain to people, like, here's how you look for issues you can start tackling. We can really, your point about documentation is really, very important. Like, basically being like, hey, if you want to get started and this is what you're kind of looking for, here's how you can quickly discover it using tags, and then here's sort of the getting started thing, and then we can actually just start to see if the issues that we're tagging are getting resolved. So there can be kind of like an active and a more of a passive sort of view.
Okay, cool. And then part 3 is that as a SIG, we're able to identify and pursue exploratory tracks of UX work based on this data.
Yeah.
So that's obviously like, we'll iterate when we get there.
Yeah.
But this is the plan. Outcome 1, hoping to make some headway before the next meeting, and then outcome 2 by KubeCon.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, I can give an update there too. And Gabby have been working on the presentation for KubeCon for August. And one thing we also discussed was like, how can we encourage, because there are 2 tracks that we're looking at, right? One is the developer contributor and one is the non-coder like me, who is a UX designer, has been working on Kubernetes. How do we encourage them to kind of understand that SIG usability is also for non-coders? So we are going to be in our presentation, which we will share out. One thing, and examples are welcome. We want to kind of share out examples of how people can contribute.
Okay.
be it the examples that, Medium articles that they might have written, around Kubernetes and their work that we can start sharing out, giving them a little bit leverage through SIG usability. We've done work around the survey that Gabby's done, share that. That's very much research focused. So kind of expand our horizon on how we can reach out to people. So we're going to be giving really concrete examples from the community at the KubeCon, so that people know that there is a lot more out here that people can do. And then there's this developer experience track that we want to start focusing on, which we are still trying to kind of see like what that means. But definitely 2-3 different tracks. So there are multiple conversations happening through this SIG.
Awesome. Cool. Any feedback on the plan? Any risks I should consider? This is a fairly easy, low risk thing. I'm not too worried about it. Yeah. So I'm happy to share the document. And if anyone wants to pair with me on the first part to do some research, look into other projects, yeah, I'm happy to pair. And I can put my contact information at the bottom of this doc. And where's the best place to share it? In the Slack? Okay.
Yeah, I would send this out over the Slack and the mailing list.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
Cool. So the other thing that we have is that we do have the data from the SIG usability survey. And so we have about 120 responses, which I think is cool. And then the other fun thing about looking at it is a lot of the people don't work at managed service providers, which is always sort of what we're trying to find, since so many people in the Kubernetes community do work at managed service providers. I really haven't had time to dig into this at all. I'm happy to share this with anyone who does want to start kind of exploring this a lot more. And we can always try and do more to get more responses too if people are interested. But this kind of gives you an idea of what we're looking at. And let's see. So yeah, I mean, it was not a short survey. We kind of tried to keep it short-ish, but kind of gives you an idea of what people are using, size of their fleet, what they're trying to do as far as how they're choosing to use Kubernetes, whether they're using containers in production in the past. So kind of just, so it looks like we got some good data to start digging into. And I know that Pamela, you and Gabby were planning on sort of using this for your presentation in August too. So
yep.
Yeah, I'm happy to forward this to anyone who wants to really start looking at it. And I may remove the IP addresses. I'm not sure why we have those.
I know.
I was just like, yeah. So I'll send that out. I know Carl was interested, and I think he was going to send me his email over Slack or something. And then Pamela, did you want that? Gabby already has it. So yeah,
it's okay. Gabby is helping me out pull the survey together
okay.
and talk, so I can.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Cool. So I'll share that out, and then kind of let me know if we want to try and push for more responses, or if we're happy for our first one. I actually think 120 unique responses right now is actually pretty solid. It looks like at least half of them are from people who aren't building Kubernetes solutions themselves, which is cool, because that's kind of the community we want to make sure that we are understanding. Yeah, cool. Any questions about that I can answer real fast?
Question. When I explore it, I'm probably going to do it in R, which will mean if we get more responses, it'll be pretty easy to pull through. But I was curious, are there any brand colors for Kubernetes for making the plots? Because I looked and I couldn't find them right away.
Did you check just Kubernetes.io? because there's like all this stuff. They might be more about where you can use the logos, but I think they might have a brand site. I can try digging it up.
Okay. If you think something out there, I can look too. I just didn't even know if that was existed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can take a look.
And also pinging SIG contributor experience, like they can often answer my questions like really fast. So if you ever have a question, you're like random question, you know, that's kind of my spot to ask.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So yeah, so Carl, make sure you get that data right after this call. And if there's no other questions, I think we can probably wrap early. Josie, awesome presentation. And I think that having that tagging mechanism will be really valuable. So yeah, let's keep pushing that forward. Cool. Okay, thanks everybody. Bye.